All right, practice 13 today. Went indoors. It wasn't like we couldn't go outside, but they didn't want to be slipping and falling on the grass. There will be a time and a place to work. Plenty of wet ball, weather type practices. But with only getting 15 in the spring, I really wanted to take the time to make sure we were intentional about the work we got and not waste a whole lot of reps slipping and sliding. We're still very much at a foundational stage of installing just base things. Kind of recalibrating and kind of getting back to the ground level of some things this week as we close so that we can really have an idea of what we can build around and who we're going to be to some degree. It's really early, but all in all, some good work today. A lot of different situational stuff at the end that y'all weren't out there for, but a red zone period, a 2-minute situational period where you got to be thrust into action for his fast field goal or Toro field goal up, and when can we clock it and all those sort of things. But guys have been working hard. I like the intent. It's been good so far. Scrimmage Saturday was good. Back and forth a little bit. Thought you saw some offensive skill players make big plays. I think the depth of our D-line is showing at times. I think the first, if you call it group and a half of the O-line is kind of where we're trying to figure out who's in the right seats and who's where. What's the right mixture of players to put our best foot forward. I wasn't pleased on Saturday with a couple of offensive procedural issues that we had coming out of the huddle when we were in huddle situations once or twice. Didn't really like. Thought the quarterbacks did some good things. I thought on Saturday one thing that you felt the quarterbacks both do okay was run. I don't think anybody's going to confuse any of them with Michael Vick, but they have enough ability to create and extend plays. And so we saw that a couple times on Saturday that I was pleased with. But I thought we had production in the secondary on Saturday. Corners made a couple plays. One of them was a gimme. Like one of them was a tip ball that I could have made an interception on. But I did feel more productivity out of the secondary from making competitive contested plays. But like where we're at, long way to go. Guys have been giving great effort. We have a lot to improve upon. So with that, we'll open it up.
I'm sorry, how would you describe your overall philosophy or approach on penalties? I mean, sometimes you play aggressive and you get them, or, how do you view in terms of, how you want to prevent them or what you want to do in terms of mitigating it? Yeah.
So you're saying, clarify when you say penalties, like I don't like getting penalties. Yeah.
But just your philosophy on what penalties do you guys consider bad or what penalties?
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Well, no penalties are good. No penalties are good by nature, but.
I'm in the line of playing aggressive
Correct.
penalties,
Yeah, I'm good now. I got you. I got the question now. At first, I don't like penalties. They hurt you. The operational procedural ones drive me freaking nuts. Like if we don't have enough guys on line of scrimmage, that's common ass sense. It's not real hard. Are you on the ball or off the ball? Like that makes me lose my mind. There are DPIs that are bang bang, and if it's a close play, I don't really get real frustrated. There are some personal fouls that will drive me crazy because they're stupid. If a guy is playing through the echo of the whistle when it happens, it's a little different, So I think no two are alike. But yeah, there's some, we talk a lot about the Gators don't beat the Gators around here. Like we got to not beat ourselves. You can't beat anybody until you don't beat yourself. And so there's a lot of work to do in that. Within the scrimmage environment, sometimes I'll enforce the penalty, sometimes I won't because I want to situationally see some things, like in the game when we play on Saturday. I'm not for the offense or for the defense. I'm for both. I'm for the team. And so I may feel like we need to extend a situation, create a situation, manipulate a situation. But, yeah, the procedural ones are the ones that drive me crazy, where it's like we don't know how to get on the ball. Like, that ain't real hard.
You singled out.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
He's good.
Come on.
First chance for fans to put eyes on the team.
Yeah.
What kind of impression do you want to leave them with this spring game?
I just want guys to play fast and physical. We're not going to be perfect. There will be some mistakes made. I might make one on Saturday. Like we might put a bad play call in. But I want them to feel that our guys enjoy playing the game and that they're going to play with an edge and a chip on their shoulder. Now, when we play against each other, orange-blue game, we're all on the same team. So we all play for Florida. And so we have to do some things that are a little bit different. We won't make the quarterbacks just completely live. All right, well, they'll be tag off or two below. It won't be stay away from them either. It won't be like a 3-yard halo around them. So I will make them a little bit more contacted, but not with a whole lot of physicality. But I want them to feel our guys' intent and that there's some urgency and that we have some physicality about us. You know, when you go in that stadium, it's sacred. We don't go over there very often. We go there once a week right now on Saturdays, and there has to be a different vibe when you go into the stadium.
Singled out Ben Hanks last week.
Yeah.
After the scrimmage, you had a couple other corners make plays in this most recent scrimmage. What do you make of the competition in that room right now? What are you looking for?
Consistency. There's enough talent in the room. There is. I don't know if we're mature enough yet in that room. All right, so Ben's done some really good things. Cormani's done some really good things. You know, Didi did some nice things on Saturday. Like, they're all, like, I've seen a lot of guys step up at certain spots and flash, but you can't be a one-hit wonder. You know, and at corner, you have to have a short memory. You have to be ultra competitive. You have to have a swagger and a confidence about you. But I don't know yet is the talent good enough in that room? Yes. Is the maturity and the competitive character in that room where it needs to be yet? Not consistent enough for my liking for us to be a championship-type football team. We ain't there yet. But there's been some flash. But flash doesn't win long-term. Flash might make a play, and then makes a play for the other team too. So we've got to be a lot more just down in, down out, reliable.
Yeah. The structure of the scrimmage, I mean, some coaches have, you know, made it a little bit of a celebration. You've seen kind of gimmick plays at times.
Yeah.
What are you looking to get out of it? And maybe the format. Are you looking for 40 minutes of competitive action or what?
We're going to celebrate playing tackle American football. Okay? Like, we're going to tackle the guy with the football. And it will not be two split teams that are drafted like, hey, there's an offense and a defense on the sideline, offense and defense on that side. It's going to be offense versus defense. So the offense will be in blue. The defense will be in white. The defense will be called the orange team because we're not going to actually wear orange and blue because that would be ridiculously confusing for two teams to be in a color jersey. The quarterbacks will be in orange still. We will keep score. The offense will get 6 points for a touchdown. They'll get 3 points for a field goal. They're going to get 1 point for an extra point. Okay, that's it's extremely unique football scoring for the offense. Now, for the defense, there is some radical scoring. Now, I did omit one part. The offense can go for 2 from the 3-yard line. Okay, they can also go – no, but there is one part that's unique here. I think I put in the rules for Buster and them. I think they can go for maybe 3 from the 5 and 4 from the 10. So if they're down late, because the defense has some unique scoring in its deal too. So the defense gets – I believe it's 3 points for a 3 and out, if I'm not mistaken, 1 point for any punt that's forced that's not a 3 and out. They get 6 points for a turnover. So there's a defensive scoring method. It'll be released later this week. It's what I've done the last 4 years. So the defense has a way to earn points. The offense earns in a conventional manner other than the 4-point play that's kind of unique that I put in there a couple years ago just so if the offense is down by 4 at the end, we can go for 4. But the defense gets rewarded for stops, turnovers. A 4th down stop we treat as a turnover. So statistically in the box score, I look at a 4th down stop as a takeaway because it's a takeaway on downs. And so the defense will have scoring. You'll see different rotations in there. So I wouldn't put a whole lot. When you look into who are the ones, we ain't there yet. Like, yeah, there will be a depth chart. There will be guys that start game 1. But right now, who's a starter? Nobody. Who's a backup? Everybody.
What was your reaction to the rule that came out on the NCAA outlawing blind transfers and trying to keep guys from moving? With no
Yeah, I get the intent of the rule. I do. I took Jake Retzlaff last year, July 25th. Probably wouldn't be here if I didn't do that. Actually, I might. I don't know. We had Brendan Sullivan, who was winning the starting job, and then got hurt, and that's how Jake won the job, to be honest with you. But, no, I understand the intent. I do. Like, the guys withdrawing from school outside of a portal window to enroll at a different school as a walk-on and then later be put on scholarship or rev share NIL money. Like, it's like, all right, is there really a portal window that is ever closed? I'm in the minority here, too, though. Like, I do think we should have more binding contracts with legitimate buyouts on players. But I also, as a first-year head coach, I would love to have a second portal window, because I've gone through the spring now, and I'm like, okay, here's my team. Now here's where I'd like to add maybe a player or two, which I don't have the luxury of doing.
Do you anticipate having potentially any attrition, or can you guys still add somebody this offseason, whether it's JUCO guy, somebody, a late high school signee?
Yeah, we've scoured the ranks. We've looked at it, a lot of high school kids that are out there, JUCO kids. It's funny, I fielded a call from somebody about a player that I've had before that's in the portal still right now. So there's still maybe some vehicles to add a player or two. We still have some room for non-designated student athletes to be added as walk-ons potentially too, if we don't find the right scholarship type worthy players, to maybe add 6 or 7. But I wouldn't count on us having like some big additional 6 or 7 signees. There might be 1 or something, but I don't know.
Y'all lost anybody? Like, would it have to be like a grad transfer for somebody to leave at this point?
Technically, they're not even allowed to do that right now. The rules have really. It's like as soon as you think you know the rules, they change. Right now, it's like it's just ever evolving movement. But I do think there should be a caveat for grad transfers having kind of a get out of jail free card, like in Monopoly. Like, hey, I graduated. I want to do something different, maybe, because they still, believe it or not, go to school. Most of them. So
This defensive scoring method, you said you've done it the last 4 years. Where'd you come up with it? Where was the influence for that? And
yeah, I don't really know. Just it came out of my brain. I didn't want to take the time to split up teams because the reason I came with it, my first year at Troy, we had like 9 offensive linemen available. Well, we couldn't go 2 teams with 9 O-linemen. Like, you need to have 2 teams, you would need 10. And so I just said, well, let's just go offense versus defense. Let's let the offense get points by how the offense gets points. Let's get the defense opportunity to get points. And I did it that way, and then it just kind of made sense. I'm like, yeah, I sort of like this. So stuck with it. But as long as we're ever healthy enough, like we need to develop our competitive depth on this roster. Like, I don't feel really good. In full disclosure, I am very uncomfortable with the depth of how competitive we are. And in this league, you better be. We're not there yet at all. Like, it's kind of, it's a little uneasy for me. So we need to just challenge some guys to go play football. And here's the other deal. Like, if I said, who are the proven players, like who are the household names on our defense, you'd say, well, Jaden Woods. He's played 1 year of college football. Right? Like, so it's not like, and I got it. There's some other guys, Miles Graham, Aaron Childs, Bryce. There's some others. But like Jaden would be one of the first ones, and he's a first-year player. And so there's still a lot of youth to who we are. And this is a developmental game. I don't know any way you get better at football other than playing football or practicing. Like, you have to go play it. You don't get better by, doing a 3-point contest. So.
Unique box score. You're going to need like AI involved.
Yeah, well, good luck. I don't know if we've box scored that in the past, but Scott and them, they'll figure something out, I think.
Eligibility stuff, there was also the executive order with 5
Yeah.
for 5. Just curious on your thoughts and if you think that that's something that will actually come to fruition.
Well, if the president says it's an executive order, I guess there's a chance it's going to hold up. If I said it, probably not as good of a chance. I'm for the 5 for 5 concept. I am. Right now, like the coaches, we proposed at the AFCA deal a 4+9 model, which I'm great with that too. It's just then you have to start really getting technically into the math of like how all this works. 5 for 5 is cleaner, so I'm for it. I do think it would make it a little bit more black and white on like all these appeals for a 6th year, 9th year, 8th year, 7th year, a COVID year. I went to the G League year, D League, whatever you call them, basketball. Like all those guys, God bless the basketball coach. I tell Todd, I'm like, so who's ineligible in basketball and who's eligible? Like, I don't get it. So I don't know. But, yeah, 5 for 5 would be clean. D2 has already approved it. So Division II athletics, it's been approved already and going into effect. It's been an FBS Division I issue that has not been approved, but Division II approved it already.
Do you want to see spring games continue now that there's no spring portal and they've done this blind transfer, restriction?
Yeah. I didn't care that there was a second portal window the last few years. I still had a spring game to some extent. Because if a guy's going to leave and there's another portal window, they're going to leave either way. Like, I just I don't do things out of fear of like, well, what could happen? Like, we're going to scrimmage Saturday and somebody could get a bruise or a bump. You can't live in fear. And so to me, we are still getting better at the game of football, and we are so young and underdeveloped with the depth of our roster. I'm not saying we don't have some veteran players. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm not like Jaden Ball's a veteran proven player in college football, but like his backups, not here. They're not. The O-line, we've supposedly got a starter or two back, but like we got to compete. And so there's just, to me, I think everybody is different in how they want to approach it. I'm not knocking or judging if somebody doesn't want to do a spring game. That's their call. It's your team. You run your team however you want. The mindset I want our team to have is like we are always ready to go play, and we will never back down to playing. And we have to create a little bit different edge here than what we've had, and so we're gonna go play.
How are you gauging the line of scrimmage at this point? Because you hear good things about the defensive line, and then you hear some questions about the offensive line. Could it be the case of defensive line being that good, or is the offensive line being that,
I would start here. The offensive line, you have to operate 5 as 1. Like, and the offensive line is the only position group that needs nobody else to play well for them to do their job, but everybody else in the offense needs them to play well. You follow what I'm saying? Like, it makes the quarterback's job, he needs the O-line to play good. The O-line doesn't need the quarterback to play good. So it's the most unique unit in football because it's 5 guys operating as one, and that's working combination blocks. That's working targeting and pass pro. Now, there are some one-on-one situations. You're a tackle, and it's an obvious, known passing situation. You're matched up against a designated pass rusher, a DPR, and it's like, whoa, that's real speed. You better be ready to set on that. And so we're mixing and matching the O-line groupings. I'm not at peace with where we are there, but we'll figure that out, and we'll play the game around who our people are the best. The difference on the D-line is a guy can go make a flash play by himself, independent, and people go, man, the D-line's playing really good. Well, the other 3 guys sucked on that play, but Jeremiah McLeod made a play. All right, or Jaden Woods made a play, or Brendan Bett made a play, or a couple weeks ago, DK Kalu made a couple plays. So the D-line, one guy makes a play, flashes, creates a TFL, everybody's like, oh, the D-line's playing so good. And I'm like, well, they actually didn't grade out as good as you think. But, it's like a D-lineman can make one play out of every 6 or 7 or 8 snaps. Pretty good player. The O-lineman, if you do a good job, 1 out of 7 or 8 snaps, you're fired. So it's just a different standard. And I think operationally, the O-line, it's harder to get the unit to play as one, where the D-line, one-off guys can go make a play and make everybody feel good about how the group's playing, even though there's still a long way to go within the group.
What led you to Phil Trautwein? I know you kind of talked about that, but kind of what led you to bring him in, and what's he kind of done to stand out?
Yeah, when you put a staff together, you go into it with an open mind. I've walked into every time I've taken a job, and I've not been like, I'm not one of these guys that's had a list where it's like, I'm just going to call these 10 guys and they're ready to go and we're going. It's like when I took the job at Troy, I took 2 weeks to make my first new hire. And my AD there, who's now the deputy AD at Georgia Tech, he thought I was like maybe just hanging out, not going to hire people. And I'm like, no, I want to get this right. To me, it's ready, aim, shoot, not ready, shoot, aim, like measure twice, cut once. Phil had been brought to my attention a little bit ahead of me even taking this job. And then as I was walking into this job and I'm going, okay, I start with coordinator. who we're going to hire coordinator. And so I land where we're going to land there. And then you start to build around the coordinator. And I always include the coordinators in hires. I don't ever just go out and hire whoever I want and say, all right, you're stuck with these people. I don't let them hire just whoever they want either. It's a collaboration. So as we walk through putting the staff together, Buster and I had conversations about Phil, had a few phone calls with Phil. We're working through what that would look like. We flew Phil in for a face-to-face meeting, an interview, felt really good about it. Reached out to a lot of people that maybe had worked with him, been around him, all the way to Coach Meyer and Steve Adazio. Talked to both those guys about Phil before making the hire. And so a lot of homework done to make that decision. And then, he's really good at his job in and of itself, coaching, recruiting, just what it takes to do the job well. And then you add in he's a Florida Gator who was a captain here and a two-time national champion. It's like that's the cherry on top. I didn't hire him because of those things. I hired him because the coach and the man and the recruiter, it all checks. But then you take that packaged with the other, and it's like home run. You know what I mean? And so he's been great. He's great with our guys. He's got great attention to detail. He's really disciplined in how he does things. Phenomenal recruiter, great relationship guy. Really, really fired up he's here, and it's cool to be able to bring a guy back that it means so much to. The first scrimmage Saturday, he looked at me, he's like, this is freaking awesome. Like it means something to him, which is really cool, but he's doing a great job.
We heard about Buster's loaf reports last week. Just how's it been collabing with coaches from different areas as far as discipline and trading ideas and things of that nature?
Yeah, there's some things that we've done practice schedule-wise and maybe more specifically non-practice day-wise that Buster's brought, that Brad's brought to the table. Myself and Coach Craddock and Coach Gass, who were with me as my coordinators, there's some things we've done. Most of what we're doing is what I've done, but then there's been some additional things that, I think going back to the question last week about, can you learn something from a guy like Ron Zook is what I got to ask him. Like, yeah, you can learn from Ron Zook or anybody. I can learn from Buster Faulkner and Brad White. And so we put things together as a staff. There are certain things that Buster offensively needs that maybe I hadn't done in the past, practice schedule-wise, and we're going to embrace what he needs to help put that side of the ball in a position to be successful. But, yeah, we call out the good and the bad. I think, I've said this before, but the culture, the standards of your program, all it is a combination of what you promote and encourage added up with what you tolerate and allow. If you tolerate loafs and allow loafs, you're going to be a lazy football team. If you promote or encourage great effort and call that out too, then you got a chance to reinforce we want this team to play with great effort and strain. And so we show a tape in front of the team meeting every day, our non-practice days, of, hey, that set the standard. That was not our standard. And it gets called out. I don't care who you are. It gets called out. So we do it offensively and defensively segmented as well. But there's times in front of the team we call things out that aren't right because there has to be an extreme level of accountability for growth.
At the beginning of camp, you also mentioned that you wanted players to start being more self-accountable before being player leaders, if that makes sense. I mean, how have you seen player leadership maybe grow since the beginning of camp, if it has?
I define leadership, it's an action, not a role. So, like, you're not a leader just because you've been here a certain amount of time or because you have a title of head coach. You actually have to, take on the actions of leading. And the first level of leadership is lead yourself well. Like, show up on time to breakfast check, wear the right gear to practice, lead yourself. Everybody needs to do that. Where I think we have to do a better job is continue to develop some emerging leaders who are maybe not quite vocal yet but have some capacity to take on more, and then empower the ones that are already known and established leaders to getting guys to come with them. You know, when you get to be at the stage of a Miles Graham, you need to start developing other people around you to lead with you. It's not okay to just say, I'm doing my job. No, now you have to get others to do it like you're doing it at the level you're doing it. And so the guys are taking some ownership. We still have work to do. It's never ending. I mean, you've never you don't just wake up one day and go, all right, we've arrived. Everybody's leading. We're good. We can take the week off. You have to fight for it every freaking day. And so, but there's been some good guys, emerging and stepping up.
Having solidified first teams, are there any spots that maybe you entered camp with questions about that maybe you don't even have like an answer at yet, but you're starting to see some separation, starting to feel a little more comfortable with?
Yeah, I'd say the D-line is one that I didn't know if I felt like we were good enough to play winning football in the league. I think we can. How does that look? We still have to figure out the rotations and the patterns and the sub-packages and those groupings. But that's one that I feel better about. The receiving group, I think 1 through 5, I probably feel pretty good. I think we need to elevate past the top 4 or 5. So those are two that I think I knew the receiving group, but yeah, the D-line would probably be the one that I've developed the most confidence in for the last month.
What about them stands out to you?
I've seen a lot of different guys step up and be active and make plays. I think there's a lot of different types of play styles in there, and different body types, but there's good length, there's good athletic movement, there's also good size, and like I said, there's a lot of different types of players, and so you can maybe, like Emmanuel's playing to the field, but we can kick him in on some sub-package stuff, Jaden Woods is playing to the boundary, but if a team wants to get big and try to match us, we can put him to the field. And so just moving the whole front around in different spots is probably what gives me some hope with what we can do defensively.
Is there something unique about the way Coach Trautwein goes about it? I mean, O-line coaches are kind of the ultimate hard asses. I mean, they're yellers and cajole guys, but is there something unique about the way he goes about it?
His voice will elevate when needed. He's not just constantly a yeller. He's a really intentional teacher and communicator. He's very direct in communication. I think his level of thoroughness matches up with the best line coaches I've been around. Usually the line coaches are the ones that give out the tests that look like the Bible. You get a test to take for like an install and you pick it up and it's like, all right, how many pages is this thing? Like, his test tips reminders for his players is really, really lengthy and very thorough. And so I think that's probably what sticks out. And I just think his consistency. I think, and going back to the discipline comment I made about him, like, all you got to do is look at him. You see what he was as a player and then look at what he looks like now as just an adult after football. You don't lose that weight that he's lost and carry himself the way he does without being really, really disciplined. And so he's disciplined with what he eats. He came to my house. We had like 30-something players at my house for Easter, and a lot of the coaches came as well for lunch. And we're eating, honey baked ham and turkey and mac and cheese and all this stuff, all this, really healthy food. And Phil's like there, and he like brings his own food or something, doesn't even eat. Like, he's just really regimented. And I think that usually filters over to your players, but I think that's a great characteristic and trait to have with an O-line coach, because you just got to be very consistent. There's going to be a bad snap. Stay the course. Keep going. So.
About adjusting the Buster Falcons offense. You guys brought in about 5 Georgia Tech transfers on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
How have you seen them kind of step into that leadership role and help the rest of the team really adjust to the new scheme that they've had some experience in?
Yeah, I would say, I think it starts probably with Aaron there. I think he's been good for the quarterback room, because being a quarterback that's transferring with a coordinator, there could be this preconceived, like, hey, it's just his job. The rest of the room doesn't have a shot. I've seen AP really pour into the other guys in the room and try to help them with maybe some nuances that are within the structure of the offense. So he's been very helpful in that regard to Trammell and Will and Aiden and all the guys in there, top to bottom, and so I think he's probably starts with them. And then Bailey, I think, Harrison's flash All those guys, Harp is I think settling into his own a little bit, but those guys, familiarity does help him for sure.